Have you ever wondered if astrological events can impact the amount of paranormal activity, psychic attack, or entity interference you're dealing with? Hi everyone. My name's Maya Zahira with PsychicProtectionSanctuary.com. And in today's mini lesson, I'm going to share with you some observations that I've made over the years to answer that question about astrological events and negative spiritual interference. And these observations have been with over a decade of working with clients all over the world. So I'm going to keep things really simple today, and hopefully keeping it simple will be the most useful for you. I do want to point out I am not an astrologer. I do specialize in psychic protection and spiritual discernment. I call myself astrology friendly, but I am not personally an astrologer. So here's what I have noticed. The first thing that I'll talk about is the full moon. The full moon and the new moon. So the full moon usually comes with heightened psychic sensitivity and heightened personal spiritual power. So that's a good thing. It's a good thing that you have more energy, more power, but it also is a time when that negative spiritual energy tends to ramp up. So if someone is dealing with an entity attachment or a black magic curse, something active that's going on in their life, many people will notice that it seems worse around the couple of days leading up to the full moon, and then it starts to get a little bit better as the full moon wanes. So a couple of days before, a couple of days after. And so this isn't about assuming that things are going to be bad over the full moon. It's not about being afraid of the full moon period of time, but it is empowering if you can make a connection and say, oh, it's not that I've done something wrong with my clearing processes that I'm working on. Let's say you're doing a lot of spiritual cleansing. It's not that I've done anything wrong. It's that the environment right now is just more challenging. Okay, so during the full moon, you're more psychically sensitive, so you're going to feel that curse energy or that entity energy even more. So you're going to feel it, and that energy is going to be stronger, but you're stronger also. So all you need to know is during that time, you just acknowledge what's happening. And sometimes the best advice is you just hunker down for a couple of days and get some extra rest and just lay low. Just lay low for a couple of days until the astrological weather passes. And that's true for the other factors the other astrological factors that we're going to talk about today. Sometimes you just have to lay low. So, and then take good care of yourself. If you need to, do some extra protection protocols, which you can learn more about those in the Psychic Attack Sourcebook or in my programs, my online programs at PsychicProtectionSanctuary.com. Go much more deeply into protection protocols. Okay, so full moon. The new moon is a much gentler energy. So as far as psychic attack energy is concerned, there's not much that you need to know about that. It's going to be the more intense, difficult energy in the full moon. Full moon. Dark moon, you can set your intentions for the month in a very cloaked manner. And so that can be a very powerful time. And it can also be a time where the psychic attack situation might be a little less, so you can get a little period of rest. Okay. Now let's talk about Mercury retrograde. In today's spiritual culture, pretty much everybody knows about Mercury retrograde, so I'm not going to go into a lesson about that. But just very briefly, I'll say that this is a time when your electronics might go a little bit wonky. It's also a time when there might be communication issues, communication breakdowns. Here's what I've noticed, though, with Mercury retrograde is that some people are impacted more than other people. Like for me, Mercury retrograde does not do much for me. Like it doesn't cause me very many problems. I've only had a handful of times during Mercury retrograde when it's been very problematic energy. But for other people, it's always a difficult time. And again, remember, I'm not an astrologer. I'm someone who notices patterns, though. So the pattern that I've noticed is that it really depends on the person's unique astrology, so their whole makeup of their energetics and who they are. So for some people, the way that their energy mixes with the Mercury retrograde, it's a very bumpy ride. And for other people, it's very calm. Okay. So again, if you are someone who has problems, if it's very bumpy for you during Mercury retrograde, and you are someone who's dealing with a psychic attack, a curse, black magic, entity issues, or you feel that you are a spiritually targeted individual, sometimes dark forces can take advantage of any vulnerability. If it's an astrological vulnerability, if it's a mental mindset vulnerability, a health vulnerability, whatever, fill in the blank, any area that you're more vulnerable, dark forces are lazy and they will take advantage. So you can gain the upper hand if you are aware. If you're noticing, like, okay, what's happening today? Maybe I need to schedule this at a different time. Maybe I'm not going to sign a contract during this time. For me, I can sign a contract during Mercury retrograde. Like, I'm not vulnerable in that way. So dark forces don't do that for me. Like, they don't interfere in that way. There's other ways that I get interfered with. If you recognize that that's a difficult time for you, then make adjustments accordingly. So be proactive. Be proactive. The third astrological situation that I'll talk about today has to do with eclipses, both lunar and solar eclipses. So sometimes people will have weird paranormal situations when they are between eclipses. There's one eclipse and then there's another. For me, I'm trying to remember, it was like about 15 years ago. Remember, I said I'm not usually negatively impacted by Mercury retrograde, but this one time, approximately 15 years ago, we had several planets in retrograde, and we had two eclipses. And when I woke up one morning after the first eclipse, and I went, oh my God, what has happened? Like my whole timeline, I'm someone who can see timelines. My whole timeline was all messed up. And everything was just all messed up. And my housing situation suddenly went down the toilet really fast. And it was very stressful and very bad. And people who had been allies who had said how much they love me. All of a sudden, this person was making up all sorts of weird, crazy stuff about me. It was almost like they had a mental breakdown. And all of that happened as a result of multiple planets being in retrograde and then going through an eclipse season. So for me, that was a terrible time. And it was like, I really believe it was how my personal astrological system mixed in with what was going on in the larger scope of things. And dark spiritual forces absolutely took advantage of that. So I'll bring it back to this empowered thought once again. It's not about being in fear. It's not about going, oh my God, it's Mercury retrograde, I can't leave the house. It's about noticing your energies, noticing the energies in your life, whether you're going through a psychic attack, a spiritual warfare situation right now or not. If you are, if you aren't, either way, you're going to just notice the patterns of how you feel and what the energies are like in your life. When the moon is full, when it's a new moon, it's like as you go through the monthly shifts. And you'll also notice, are there any weird, difficult energies during other astrological events? During Mercury retrograde, is it easy for you? Is it hard? Is it somewhere in between? So you're going to notice the patterns, not with fear, but just with curiosity and with wisdom. And then you're going to use that wisdom to make decisions accordingly. And some of those decisions might be, okay, this particular astrological situation could be very problematic for me. So I'm going to do some extra protection work. I'm going to do some extra grounding. I'm going to do every day, I'm going to take time to scan my energy. And this is something that I teach in both of my programs. It's a very simple process to learn how to tune into your energy. Every day I'm going to tune in. So you just take this empowered approach. You use that wisdom and you respond in a proactive way. Okay. So I'm curious if you have noticed certain times when the energy is easier or more difficult, and specifically when it comes to spiritual warfare, but also with just general energies. If you're an empath, are there certain times that are more difficult for you? So please share in the comments. I would love to hear all about it. And this space is friendly to people who are astrologers and not astrologers. So whatever your experience might be, go ahead and share it. And it's always good to have a curious mind to consider what's happening with the energies. So that is the message that I wanted to share today. And I hope you found it useful. Again, you can get more information about my offerings at my website, psychicprotectionsanctuary.com. Lots of love.